Hey everybody, PSV60 back for more of Turok 2. Let's take a look and see what our pause screen has to offer since we haven't yet. It shows us how much of the mission objectives that we still need to do, as well as our inventory, which is what we've collected so far. I'm fairly certain the keys will give you a rough idea of which key you missed, if you missed any of them, but it's also important to note that it tells you what levels have what available. Also, it shows you what all of the cheats are. I'm fairly certain we unlock all of them through regular gameplay. But if not, it at least tells you what you're getting into. Anyhow, the reason why the inventory is important, particularly for the first level, is the talisman chamber that tells you that you need sacred eagle feathers to get the talismans in less level. You would think would imply that there is a eagle feather in this level that you need to find. There is not. Also, I think that guy just pissed off his friend by hitting him with a grenade, which, to be fair, if somebody hit me with a grenade, I'm pretty sure that would make me pretty irate too. And as you are aware from last episode, the one missing children that we still have that I haven't realized I walked past, I have already walked past. And we'll be coming back for that. Also good to know that the self-destruction move will hurt you as well, just in case it wasn't painfully obvious. And we're going to be seeing a good bit of this environment, specifically this kind of high walkway around this bottomless pit structure that I can't really think of any discernible reason why it would exist or would be built. And you may have just barely seen the entrail that's taking potshots at us, who was a decent amount below us. I didn't see him. So I'm just kind of staring around into the sky like a turkey would when it rains, trying to find this entrail that was shooting at me, and he's actually down there. Just walked back into that doorway for now. We'll be saying hi to him soon enough. Hello. It's a nice little touch that if you shoot them in the metal gauntlet, it actually makes sparks instead of making blood fly out. Just to signify that you are in fact hitting metal. Wasn't really something that they needed to do, and the game still would have been perfectly fine without it, but it's nice to know that they put in that little bit of extra effort. And this, you will see come up more often in later levels, or not more often at least, but rather multiple times. This is a sniping section. Essentially what we need to do is more or less stay further back from these guys that are bordering the areas in this little this aqueduct looking kind of thing, sitting inside of these archways. To try to snipe them before they notice us. Or at the very least, to try to snipe them without them noticing us. It's pretty likely that you're going to figure out where each of them is at because they started shooting at you. Kinda like that guy way back there. Also, we have this Raptoid that I'm fairly certain is trying to hit something behind him. Evidently, he got into an argument with his squad mate there, which we're going to gladly solve for them. No more argument. Now this guy's really close to the edge, so you more or less kind of have to back off until he forgets that you're there, which... I mean, they're dinosaurs. It's not going to take very long for him to forget that you're there. So we just kind of peek around the corner barely, line up a shot, and have it sail right over his head. Thankfully, that explosive arrow was close enough that it did blow up some limb, probably his head. I'm pretty sure you can't take a single arm off of these guys, but I'm not 100% on that.
Pistol.
It's kind of a trade-up as far as which arrow is better to use for sniping. The tech arrows do have a bit of a fudge to them, in that if you don't exactly hit the head, you still might take it on in one hit anyway. But regular arrows like I'm using here don't give them any chance to fire back if you get a headshot. It just takes them out immediately, rather than having that slight charge up time. And if you had noticed when we took out the first one, it sounded like there was a door opening. This will come up later, and you technically can just run through this area taking whatever hits may come your way. But it's in your best interest to try to take out all of these faraway entrails. There is a reward for them, and we're going to want that reward, and you'll probably understand why if you haven't noticed our health yet by this point, which is getting ever lower. This doorway opens up when you take out the entrails.
Ultra hell.
And you can see down to our right is where we first entered this area at. And this is that ladder with the pistol ammo that we saw from that walkway when I was confused where I was getting shot at from. I do like when levels wrap back around on themselves, rather than just continuing forward in some sort of straight linear fashion, and you never really get to see where you came from. Incidentally, I like the level layouts in Dark Souls a lot. Killing those two guys will open this door on our left. Lots of necessary murder in this first level. And just in case you don't remember this specific area, this is the catwalk way back when I was trying to snipe this specific entrail, actually, I believe, and continuously hitting him in the toe with tech arrows. Followed by him dying. Oh, well, apparently you can take off their arms. Followed by him dying and leaking a fairly ludicrous amount of blood over the edge.
Pistol.
And that just opened something under us. But here we'll get to see a little bit more of how useful the sniping can be in areas where you're not specifically told, hey, you need to start sniping here. More evidence of the dinosaurs very quickly forgetting that you exist after attempting to blow them up. Also, I'm fairly certain that's exactly where I shot him at with a tech arrow last time. The tech arrows' explosives will also remind them that you're there. Regular arrows don't seem to do it quite as often. So if you miss with a regular arrow, it's not necessarily as guaranteed that they'll understand they're being shot at, but the arrow explosions will definitely clue them in that something's up. That was not a bad shot at all. Thank you to the N64's collision detection, we can see that there's very obviously a secret door there. Which I thought was the last child when I'd initially opened it. But it is instead a key. We do need the key too, though, so it's not really a huge loss. This doorway that opened when we first walked into this area will take us back to that same spot where we created a blood waterfall. And give us easy access to this ammo spawner. Which we've abused enough, so I'll just take a couple of free prizes and be on my way. Looks like we've got another talisman portal up there. Might as well clear the way first. That way we won't have to deal with it when we get there. Much nicer of a shot. Not a bad hidden ammo cache back there. I didn't know it was back there when I went to pick it up. I knew it was back there in recording, and I still couldn't see it. Or not recording, during editing. Oh, we get 2 sets of compies this time. And that one's really hungry, apparently. Another shotgun, it looks like. Considering that the weapons in the Turok series have generally all been extremely creative and imaginative, you don't really need to do dual-wielding akimbo-style guns in the Turok games. But I do kind of wonder why they haven't included it at all until I think the Turok reboot, the 2008 one, I believe. Now, this area is just about at the end of the level. And it's here that I realize I'm pretty sure I've missed that last child somewhere.
Tech bow, sniper capability enabled.
Where that somewhere is, I'm not sure. Iguana is pretty nice about putting the tech bow in places to let you know, hey, sniping from here is generally a pretty good idea. This is... God damn it. There we go.
I am Turok!
Heading up here, we're going to see the last building in the level, and another tech bow to remind us we should probably be sniping in this immediate area. Now, something that I haven't mentioned before, ducking when you're sniping does actually help, because frequently the levels are set up in such a way where ducking will give you that little bit of distance that you need to get out of these entrails' vision range. Whereas if you were still standing, they could still see you from where they're at. And as such, will continuously take pot shots at you. Perfect, right in the nose. With those two taken out, we can now worry about clearing the interior of this area.
Shotgun.
And if you'll have noticed before when we were sniping that, those couple of entrails up in the windows, our last key is up here. But there's still a few more entrails to take out before we can go get it. These adjoined houses are more or less mirrored. So we took out one entrail and found one switch on the bottom level. We can assume that there's one more entrail and one more switch on the bottom level on the opposite side. That guy's kind of the odd one out, as he's more or less in the middle. And something that I haven't shown off yet. These little foot cases are destructible and will hold a couple of pickups for you. Something good to keep in mind just in case you're running really low. Or if you just want to top yourself off a little bit. Now, everything that we're doing now is to unlock our way back to that other talisman chamber. We've already got all of the keys, and had I actually been paying attention, we'd have rescued all of the children as well, and it's been a really long time since we've activated all of the distress beacons. There was one more mission that we were given by Adon at the very beginning, which was to locate and defend the energy totem. None of the energy totems are actually in the levels, per se. We're not actually going to see the energy totem until we leave. At which point, we're taken right to it. It's hard to tell exactly where they're going to end up at sometimes when they stop running around. For the most part, they tend to follow predictable patterns, but sometimes they'll get hung up on a piece of geometry, and the game will think they've moved in their pattern already, so they just kind of run back to the beginning of it. Oh my god. There we go. And with the way cleared, we can now make our way over to that other
Tech bow, sniper capability
sacred talisman
enabled.
chamber. Which we still don't have an eagle feather to get the talisman, but maybe we can at least get some more information about it. This one's sealed off too, so just gotta find a switch. And there we go. Down with this much appreciated
Warp
cache of
portal
health.
activated.
Well, this is different. This doesn't look sacred at all. What's going on?
flesh have been set in motion. The primogen must not be stopped. The totems must fall. The balance must falter. Chaos must commence. We are the darkness. We are the unseen. We are oblivion. That which has been set in motion cannot be stopped. Your deeds, your life, your very existence falls under the great shadow of oblivion. Your failure is inevitable.
That was... What did we just walk into? Apparently, we just walked into an ambush. An ambush with some really fast guys. What are these? Adon didn't mention any of these at all. Well, assuming we can make it back to the Lost Land alive, maybe we could get some answers on what these things are. Whatever they are, they seem to worship something called Oblivion. And whether that's the actual end of everything or something named Oblivion, we don't really know. But it does seem like they were nice enough to include some health and ammo spawners up here. Now, considering how easily I got wrecked by these four guys, I'm gonna take some time and build myself back up a bit. Alright, we're back up to full, so let's go see whatever this thing is. And see if we could get some
You
answers.
have found part of the nuke weapon.
Oh, that's... okay.
Turok, a strange presence fills this evil place. I do not understand its source, but it is somehow familiar to me. You must take care when entering the warp portals. Whatever this new threat is, it seems that false portals have been erected to lure you into a trap.
Thank you, Adon. That was helpful. Thank you for the heads up about false portals. It doesn't look like anything spawned back in out here. You know, Adon, if you could have just warped into there at any point, couldn't you have, I don't know, gotten us out? Or maybe helped a little? I mean, you don't really seem to be particularly combat savvy, but something, maybe? Whatever, I'm sure you've got more important things to do, I guess. Now, if we remember Turok 1 well, this is an ending portal. And we're still missing one child. Time to wander back through the level. And there I finally noticed the open doorway that I missed before. And we can go in and rescue this child that has surprisingly not starved yet. Although considering at this point we've realized that these things basically eat souls. And she's surrounded by probably about at least one entrail that we just took out, and I'm pretty sure there's another couple wandering around out here. It sounded like we heard at least 2 more sets of footsteps. She's got plenty of souls to drink. Telekinetically, she also may be what just lowered that bridge for us. Maybe you can lower a few more bridges? Thank you. How about this one? Thank you. Thank you for leading me to the switch. Let's just finish thinning the herd out so I can actually make my way out of here. Doesn't seem to be an easy way down. Well, actually I take that back, there is one easy way down. The easiest way. Falling.
Child rescued.
Thank you, Turok.
And with these 4 children safe from the dinosaurs, their plague can continue on mankind. Which there doesn't really seem to be a whole lot left of. Well, let's make our way back to that end portal. And we can go and find the energy totem then. And with that last explosion from that last entrail,
Full health.
we can finally bid farewell to the Port of Adia. For the moment, at least. Now, I stopped for some shotgun shells on the way. And we're gonna need all of them for this.
You must save the totem, Turok.
Because defending the totem means entrails are going to endlessly spawn in to try to take this thing out. And our job is to take enough of them out that Adon can kind of psychically nuke the area and wipe everything clean. And we need to do this before they take out the tower, which we've got 2 bars up at the top. The green one represents the energy totem's health. The red one represents how many entrails we need to take out. Explosive shells are pretty good for this. Oh, you can take out each of their arms. Like I said, explosive shells are pretty good for this. Kinda nice to see that we can still juggle the bodies, but it doesn't give that satisfying scream anymore. Now, one thing that's interesting to note. If we fail it, we don't get to try it again. There is a definite failure state, and it's not a game over state. We can avoid saving the energy totems if we don't want to or otherwise screw it up too bad. And as you can see there, beating level 1 gave us the cheat for Fruity Stripes. You could probably figure out what Fruity Stripes is. We've gotten keys for level 3. But next time, we're going to be headed up to level 2.
Greetings, Turok. How may I assist you?
But for now, we're going to take a break. If you'll note, in the hub area, the health and ammo abilities are grayed out. I'm guessing they just didn't really want to necessarily program that in, since there's no combat that you're going to get into in the hub area. There's really no danger of needing that extra health or ammo. So, till next time.
Game saved.
Good hunting.